History lost, decks past, but in this series, we revisit older decks to see if they can be brought back to the forefront of the meta. We'll break down what made these decks great, what no longer holds up, and how modern builds can give them new life. By exploring different variants and tech choices, we'll tune each deck to fit different playstyles. Let's see if these classics still have what it takes for meta teching. What's up, guys? My name is TechnoTuner, and we're back again today with another episode of Metateching. Today, we're taking a look at Drytron, one of the most infamously well-known ritual decks, and was one of the most powerful decks, if not still one of the most powerful rogue decks I like to see at locals every once in a while. This deck has a lot of good capability, from being able to spam a bunch of level 1s, for ritual summoning, but also giving you the full board capability to make some really cool ritual monsters, being able to really take ritual summoning to that next level, where you're utilizing the attack value versus the level to ritual summon. It works great for machine rituals and other rituals monsters, among the rest of the actual deck itself. Being able to incorporate bigger monsters can help you further solidify your games, but also gives you the full board capability of running hand traps and other interactions, such as Cyber Angel Natasha to gain life points and steal monsters, Ben 10 to search up Vandy's Ruler for a lockout, and other things along those lines that can allow you to go for an OTK if necessary. Today we're going to be taking a look at a couple deck builds for this deck, and I'm going to go over what each of them can do and what they can bring to the table to further help you get to that next level. Anyways, guys, let's hop right into it, and I'll see you all at the start with our basic Drytron build. So, hopping right into it, let's go ahead and take a look. For our basic build, we're looking at 3 Ash Blossom and 3 Infinite Impermanence in our hand trap slots. As for the actual monsters, we're playing 3 Drytron Alpha Thuban, cannot be normal summon or set, must be special summon with the effect of a Drytron card. You can contribute 1 other Drytron monster or ritual monster from your hand or field, special summon this card from your hand or graveyard in defense position. Then you can add 1 ritual monster from your deck to your hand. You cannot special summon monsters except monsters that cannot be normal summon or set the turn you activate this effect. You can only use this effect to Drytron Alpha Thuban once returned, so basically this is our monster that's going to get us to our ritual monsters pretty easily. Up next is Drytron Delta Altice. Cannot be normal summon or set, must be special summon with the effect of a Drytron card. You contribute 1 other Drytron monster or ritual monster from your hand or field. Special summon this card from your hand or graveyard in defense position. Then you can reveal 1 ritual monster or ritual spell in your hand, and if you do, draw 1 card. Cannot special summon monsters except monsters that cannot be normal summon or set the turn you activate this effect. You can only use this effect of Drytron Delta Altice once per turn. Drytron Gamma Elatin, or Eltanine, cannot be normal summon or set, must be special summon with the effect of a Drytron card. You contribute 1 other Drytron monster or 1 ritual monster from your hand or field. Special summon this card from your hand or graveyard in defense position. Then you can special summon 1 Drytron monster with 2,000 or more, with 2,000 attack from your graveyard, except Drytron Gamma Eltatine. You cannot special summon monsters except monsters that cannot be normal summon or set. You can only activate, the turn you activate this effect. You can only use this effect of Drytron Gamma Eltanine once per turn. So basically, Altais is our card draw. Eltanine is our revive back, so we can go into our rank 1 or tribute off for our Vandy's Ruler. And then we have Drytron New 2. Cannot be normal summon or set, must be special summoned by a card effect. If a Drytron card is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. If this card is special summoned, you can add 1 Drytron monster from your deck to your hand, except Drytron New 2. You can only use each effect of Drytron New 2 once per turn. Also, you cannot ritual summon the turn you activate either of these effects, except for machine monsters. So this does lock you out of the Cyber Angel stuff, but you can still go into the machine rituals, which are Medionis DA Draconids and Drytron Medionis Draconids. So DA and then Dad or regular Draconids. You can also do the Magic Key Mech Buster Bato Blaster, which, funny enough, when Ritual Summon does get us the Magic Key unlocking, which is basically a spell trap negate while we control a Magic Key Ritual monster. Or a Magic Key monster special summon from the extra deck, where we get to negate the activation. If you do destroy that card, then you can declare 1 attribute. And if you do that, for the rest of this turn, all face-up monsters your opponent controls become that attribute. But anyways, going back to this, So new 2 is basically another extender that allows us to go into the ritual summons of our monsters. But it basically makes it to where if we add the ritual spell back and special summon it, we cannot special summon anything like that. Sorry. If this card is special summon and we add a Drytron monster from our deck to our hand, we cannot ritual summon the turn we activate either of these cards' effects, so it can be a little bricky. But this is basically where we're going for the OTK aspect, utilizing this card as a extender. But the other one that we're using is Zeta, where cannot be normal summon or set, must be special summon with the effect of a Drytron card. You contribute one other Drytron monster or one ritual monster from your hand or field. Special summon this card from your hand or graveyard in defense position. Then you can add one ritual spell from your deck to your hand. You cannot special summon monsters except for monsters that cannot be normal summon or set. The turn you activate this effect. You can only use this effect of Drytron Zeta Aldeba once per turn. So basically, Alpha is our ritual searcher, like our ritual monster. Zeta is our ritual spell searcher. New 2 is an extender. Gamma is an extender. And Altais is our card draw. With this, we can easily go into Vandy's Ruler. That can be searched off of Ben 10 because Ben 10 can be tributed for a Drytron monster, in which we can then search or add one light fairy monster from our deck to our hand. If you're playing the Herald item or the Herald cards, those can be searched as well, such as Diviner of the Herald and all that. But I like to just run Vandy's Ruler because then I can tribute the monsters I need for the Drytron, the extra Drytrons I have on board, so I can just lock my opponent from being able to special summon. I am playing the one Blue Eyes Chaos Max because if you utilize Chaos Max, you can potentially OTK your opponent as well. And plus, it is just a really good ritual monster that can be heavily utilized. E to 10 is a good way to when this card is tributed. You can make all ritual monsters you control gain 1,000 attack, making Blue Eyes Chaos Max 5k, or making Draconids 5k, or Dad making him 6k, which makes it even harder. But the other thing is, if you do ritual summon this, you can add one ritual spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand, so getting you a little bit of recursion on that. Natasha's our life point and life point gain and monster stealing. So basically, if we tribute this monster, we can banish one Cyber Angel monster. If this card's in the graveyard, you can banish one other Cyber Angel monster from your graveyard, then target one monster opponent controls, special summon this card if you do take control of that monster. Do note you do have to ritual summon this first to get that effect. If you don't, it does fizzle a bit, and you cannot activate it. Bato Buster. We've already went over this. Basically, it's a good way to search the trap. But the other thing is, once per turn, when an attack is declared involving this card and an opponent's monster that has the same attribute as a normal monster or Magic Key monster in your graveyard, you can place any number of the cards from your hand on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, negate the effects of that opponent's monster until the end of this turn. Then draw the same number of cards, place it under the deck. That's if you're playing any kind of normal monster with the deck, but the main thing that we're utilizing it for is searching for one Magic Key card from our deck to our hand, which is the unlocking. Up next, of course, we're playing the Dad, which is a big 5k beater, but you can ritual summon this card with Meteonis Drytron. Other Drytron monsters you control cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects twice per turn. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can banish Drytron monsters, minimum 1, from your graveyard, whose total attack equal or exceeds the original attack of that monster. Negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. If this ritual summon card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon one ritual monster with 4,000 attack from your hand or deck. This is treated as a ritual summon, noting that you can ritual summon Chaos Max from the deck. The other one that you can do is Drytron Meteonis Draconids. If the total levels of monsters used for its ritual summon are 2 or less, this card can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls once each. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can banish monsters from your graveyard whose combined attack equals exactly 2,000 or 4,000 attack, then target one face-up card for your opponent controls for every 2,000 attack of the total. Send that card or cards to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Drytron Meteonis Draconids once per turn. So basically, just a good way to send cards to the graveyard and not really interact with them. But it also, if you're using 2 bodies on board with the Drytron monsters, you can utilize that and get to a higher attack to be able to beat over all your opponent's stuff. So that can really help you a lot there as well. since you can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls, which makes it really hard for them to out. We have Drytron Fafnir. If this card is activated, you add one Drytron spell or trap from your deck to your hand, except Drytron Fafnir. The activation and activate effects of ritual spell cards cannot be negated once per turn if a monster is normal or special summon face up. While you control a Drytron monster, except during the damage step, you reduce that monster's level by 1 per 1,000 of its current attack. For the rest of this turn, you can only activate one Drytron Fafnir per turn. Then, of course, Drytron Nova is special summon one Drytron monster from your deck, but destroy it during the end phase. You only activate one Drytron Nova per turn. You cannot special summon monsters except monsters that cannot be normal summon or set the turn you activate this card. So basically locking into extra deck, rituals, and specifically Drytron monsters for special summoning. Meteonis Drytron, the goat of ritual spells in my opinion. This card can be used to ritual summon any ritual monster from your hand or graveyard. You must also tribute machine monsters from your hand or field whose total attack equal or exceed the attack of the ritual monster you ritual summon. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Drytron monster you control. It loses 1,000 attack until the end of your opponent's turn. And if it does, add this card to your hand. You can only use this effect of Meteonis Drytron once per turn, basically giving you full board capability into getting into your Drytron and bigger boss monsters. The other things that we're running as well are 3 Preparation Rites to add a level 7 or lower ritual monster, aka your Cyber Angels, from your deck to your hand, and recur the actual Meteonis Drytron ritual spell back from your graveyard to your hand. The other card and last main card of the deck that I am playing outside the hand traps and Magic Key Unlocking is Cyber Emergency. Add one light machine monster that cannot be normal summon or set, or one Cyber Dragon monster from your deck to your hand. If the activation of this card in its owner's possession was negated by your opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can discard one card, add this card to your hand. You can only activate one Cyber Emergency per turn. So basically, if it gets ashed, you can discard a card, add it back to your hand, and use it for next turn. But basically giving you that option to get your Drytron little monsters back to your hand can help out greatly. Now, you do see there are a couple cards in the side deck. One is Jinzo, because I always find it funny when I get to summon him. He's also a machine that you can utilize for ritual summoning. It's great. The other one is Drytron Meteonis Quadrantids. Your opponent cannot target this card with spell and trap effects or spell or trap cards or effects. You can only use each of the following effects of Drytron Meteonis Quadrantids once per turn. If total levels of monsters used for this ritual summon were 2 or less, you can destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls. If this ritual summon card is destroyed, you special summon Drytron monsters from your graveyard except Drytron Meteonis Quadrantids, whose combined attack equals exactly 4k. So you won't be able to summon back your ritual monster if it wasn't summoned correctly, but you can summon back other the other Drytrons to continue on with your plays, but it's a good way to get rid of back row. Now, as for the extra deck, we're playing one Zeus, one Downward Magician, and 2 Drytron Mu Beta Fafnir. This takes 2 or more level 1 monsters. When you ritual summon, you can detach a material or materials from this card as monsters required for the ritual summon. You can only use each of the following effects of Drytron Mu Beta Fafnir once per turn. If this card succeeds summon, you can send one Drytron card from your deck to the graveyard. When your opponent activates a spell or trap card while you control a machine ritual monster, quick effect. You can attach one material from this card, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. So that helps greatly because it is a spell and trap negate that can help protect your board as well. The other card that I'm playing as a tech is number 54, Lionheart. 3 level 1 monsters. The attack position card cannot be destroyed by battle. If you take battle damage from battles involving this card, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the battle damage you took. Once per battle, during damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster, detach one material from this card. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from that battle. So basically, it can OTK your opponent if you attack into something really big or really dumb, such as Psychic and Punisher, which can really help seal out games if you need to. It's just a funny tech as well. You can replace it with Ripplebird for a Book of Moon effect if you would like, but this is one of those cards that I really do like the design of, and it makes it for a more entertaining duel. Up next, we're playing the 1 Super Star Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis, followed up by Access Code, Ashlyn U1000. Since we're playing different ritual monsters, if a ritual monster this card points to it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent, you can only use each of the following effects of Ashlyn U1000 once per turn. You can reveal one ritual monster and hand add one ritual monster with a different type and attribute from your deck to your hand. If you ritual summon, except during damage step, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls, return to the hand. Once again, being able to get rid of cards on your opponent's board can really help out, but also being able to search another ritual can help as well. Cross Sheep, 2 monsters with different names. If a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, you can apply the following effects in sequence based on the card type's point that this card points to. So the main thing is here, Ritual, draw 2, then discard 2. That's basically just being able to cycle your hand if you need to. Dynamondo, 2 monsters including a Ritual monster. If this card is special summoned, you can target 1 card on the field. And 1 Ritual monster in your graveyard, shuffle both into the deck. During your opponent's turn, quick effect. You contribute this card, then target 1 Ritual monster in your graveyard, either add to your hand or special summon it. You can only use each effect of Dynamondo once per turn. Then, of course, we got Herald of the Mirage Lights, 2 monsters with the same type and attribute except tokens. When a spell or trap card or effect is activated, you can send 1 fairy monster from your hand to the graveyard. Negate the activation if you do destroy it. If this card is in your possession, is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's monster, you can add up to 2 ritual monsters and or ritual spells with different names from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use each effect of Herald of Mirage Lights once per turn. So basically being able to recycle back cards, but also giving you a spell trap negate. Then, of course, we're playing the Nightmare Unicorn as a further way to discard a card to spin back a monster to your opponent's deck. Link Kriba or Link Spider to get around any Nibiru shenanigans. Link Kribo to further help with being able to get a monster's attack to 0 so we can do more damage. And then there's Lina the Light Charmer the Lustrous, since most of the monsters we play are light, where basically we can revive back an opponent's monster, continue up with a Link 3. But if this card is sent to the graveyard, we can add 1 light monster with 1500 less defense from our deck to our hand, which is basically all the Drytrons as they have 0 defense. This deck does offer up a lot for ritual summoning and giving a lot of newer players the capability to learn how ritual summoning has changed throughout the years, but it does offer up a lot of good beat sticks and ways to really interact with your opponent. This is one of those decks that I do encourage for newer players, but also for those that are just returning to the game as well that really do like the Ritual and Xyz kind of play style. Up next, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our Genesis build for Pure Drytron, or a Drytron baseline, and see how that looks. So, taking a look at Drytron here for Genesis, basically we have the same aspect with the whole Drytron portions, but we're running only 1 Alpha Thuban as it is a 33-point card, but it does get us into our rituals such as Chaos Max, Edison, Natasha, Dad, Little Draconids, and Bato Buster. But we're also utilizing some cards such as Lava Golem, Ultimate Bright Knight Ursatron Alpha, which is this card is always treated as a Ursarctic and Drytron card. Cannot be normal summon or set. Must be special summoned by card effect. If you control an Ursarctic or Drytron monster except Ultimate Bright Knight Ursatron Alpha, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can add... Come here. Then you can add 1 Ursarctic or Drytron spell or trap from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Ultimate Bright Knight Ursatron Alpha once per turn. Being able to utilize that can really help us get into our Drytron Novas, our Meteonis Drytron, our Drytron Fafnirs, or our Trap Meteoroa Drytron. If a Drytron cards or card or cards is banished except during the damage step, tribute 1 Drytron monster, then target up to 2 of your banished Drytron cards, add them to your hand. You can reveal 1 Meteonis Drytron in your hand. Ritual summon 1 machine ritual monster from your hand or graveyard by attributing machine monsters from your hand or field whose total attack equals or exceeds its attack. You can only use each effect of Meteorona Drytron once per turn. The other cards that I'm utilizing here are Gadget Gamer. When this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 level 1 machine monster from your deck to your hand. You contribute this card, special summon Morphtronic monster from your hand. Then you can special summon 1 Gadget Hauler from your hand or deck. You can only use each effect of Gadget Gamer once per turn. Basically, we're utilizing it as a body to get us into our Drytron monsters that can help us further extend. It is a machine, so we can also work that in for the tribute of another monster if we need to. But at this point in time, Gadget Gamer is just a really good searcher. Then, of course, we're running the 2 Preparation Rites and 3 Ultimate Slayer. Outside of that, everything else is basically the same for Drytron. We are running only 1 Zeus, 1 Down Nerd, and 1 Mu Beta Fafnir, but I've also incorporated the Lyrilusk engine, which is 1 Assembled Nightingale. Gains 200 attack for each material attached to it. This card can attack directly while this card has material. It can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of materials attached to it. Once per turn, quick effect, you can attach 1 material from this card. Until the end of this turn, Lyrilusk monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also, you take no battle damage, so it's a good way to do a battle fader sort of style. Then we have Lyrilusc Ensemble Robin. 2 or more level 1 monsters gains 500 attack for each material attached to it. If your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, except during the damage step, you can detach one material from this card, then target one of those special summon monsters, return it to the hand. If this card is in your possession, is sent to your graveyard by an opponent's card, you can target one other Lyrilusc monster in your hand, or in your graveyard, add to your hand. And then, of course, we got Promenade Thrush. 2 or more level 1 monsters gains 500 attack for each material attached to it. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card. Then target one spell or trap your opponent controls, shuffle it into the deck. At the start of damage step, if another monster you control battles, you can detach any number of materials from this card. That monster you control gains 300 attack for each material detached until the end of this turn. So that can basically help you beat over certain things, but also helps you break boards. Of course, I'm running the 1 Lionheart and the 1 Ripple Bird, where it's basically detach one material from this card, target one monster on the field, change its battle position. While all monsters you control are in attack position, they gain 500 attack. While all monsters you control are in defense position, your opponent cannot declare an attack. So this can help single out and stop your opponent from doing certain shenanigans. But also, due to the effect that we're running Ultimate Slayer here, we're also running some extra deck shenanigans, such as Enigmaster Pack Bit. During either player's turn, let's see here. If this card is synchro summoned or sent to the graveyard, you can target one monster in your graveyard or one face-up monster your opponent controls. Discard one card, and if you do, place that monster in its owner's spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous trap. During either player's turn, if this card is a continuous trap, you can special summon one face-up monster card from your spell and trap zone, and you can only use each effect of Enigmaster Pack Bit once per turn. We're not really worried about that secondary effect, but the first one being able to further board break. Fossil Warrior Skull Knight. The one we're looking for is just the graveyard effect, which is you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one monster in the field, and destroy it. You can only use this effect of Fossil Warrior Skull Knight once per turn. And then, of course, we're running the Eclipse Twins and Valen the Super Sky Blaster. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one face down card on the field and destroy it. So that helps us further pop. But the Eclipse Twins is if we're looking to use it as Xyz material, we can utilize that. But we can also utilize other things as well for the Ultimate Slayer. I was just looking for ways to save up on points. If you have another one that can help as well and does better than the Eclipse Twins, please feel free to supplement that instead. But basically, Ultimate Slayer is very helpful in board breaking. Now, the one card that is in the side deck that should probably be in there to replace one of the Ultimate Slayers or another card, if you're looking to do this, is Drytron Meteor Shower. When your opponent normals or special summons a monster while you control a ritual monster, negate the summon, and if you do, shuffle that monster into the deck. You can only activate one Drytron Meteor Shower per turn. Basically, just making it a solemn to where you negate the summon, but you're not destroying it, you're shuffling it back into the deck, which can further hinder your opponent if they can't search it back. So that helps break boards, but also makes it more difficult for your opponent to play around that. That's all I got for the Genesis build. We're setting at 99 points. Feel free to take this and further improve it to the best fit your playstyle, but I kind of like this build a little bit more as you can do funnier things. I've seen where people run Crime and Punishment, which are the rank 1s, which can do a lot of fun damage as well. They're usually incorporated with Mimicals, but this also works. All right. Anyways, let's hop into our next deck build. Did someone say fairy control? Oh yeah, that's right. Drytrons can be paired with Herald of the Perfection and other fairy rituals for the Herald lock. Being able to utilize Eva along with the Herald of Green Light, Orange Light, and Herald of Perfection, you can utilize this to get into a monster spell or trap negate. Basically, with the Herald of Perfection, you can ritual summon this card with Dawn of the Herald. When your opponent activates a spell or trap card or monster effect, quick effect, you can send one fairy monster from your hand to the graveyard and negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. So further hindering your opponent from being able to really utilize any kinds of spells, traps, or monsters can really hurt them a lot, but it does give you the full board capability of utilizing the Drytron monsters to get more monsters on the board for that ritual summon, but also being able to get further monsters on board to help prevent your opponent from playing. This deck does really well with that by utilizing the Herald of Green Light and Herald of Orange Light to be able to get a spell negate or a monster negate where you just negate it and destroy it. But it also works well with being able to utilize the Cyber Angels as well for recycling or being able to get other fairy monsters to the hand, such as Ben 10 being able to cycle and get Herald of the Perfection to our hand a lot sooner. While this deck has a lot to offer, we are also playing 3 pre-preparation rites. where we can add one ritual spell from our deck to our hand and add one ritual monster from our deck or graveyard to our hand whose name is mentioned on that ritual spell. You can only activate one pre-preparation of rites per turn, allowing us to not look up Meteonis Drytron, but allowing us to get Dawn of the Herald. This card is used to ritual summon Herald of the Perfection. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal exactly 6. When Herald of Perfection is ritual summoned by this card's effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard and target one of the monsters in your graveyard that was tributed for that ritual summon. Return that target to the hand. This is also another good card or another good deck to run Vandy's Emperor, where you can basically tribute the 2 Drytrons or fairy monsters to get a summon lock to prevent your opponent from special summoning. The extra deck is basically the same, but there's one other card in the main deck that I do want to go over, which is Eva. This has been released from the ban list a while ago. But if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish up to 2 other light fairy monsters from the field and or graveyard. Add that same number of level 2 or lower light fairy monsters with different names from your deck to your hand, except Eva. You can only use this effect of Eva once per turn. So this can help you get into your Herald of the Orange Light, Herald of the Green Light a lot sooner, but also offers up a lot of good utility there as well. While the extra deck has not changed, you can modify it to however you see fit. I just didn't see any real means of modifying it, as it works pretty well nonetheless. But that's all that I have for the Fairy Lock version. If you guys like this version, please let me know. I don't mind further upgrading this or working on it as well. I do know that there is a higher level and attack version of Herald of Perfection. It's really good. It just requires a little bit more fairy types to really work with. While Herald of Perfection is small enough and only requires 1 fairy monster from hand to be sent to the graveyard to negate the activation, which can further help you get your protection up and still utilize a lot of actually good cards. Anyways, that's all I got for this deck build. Let's hop into the very last one that I have for this video, and I think you guys are going to get a kick out of it, as it is a really cool deck build that I found. So, welcome into the whole board of Drytron Mitsu Azamina. This deck build was basically came up with by PSAIYGO, PSAIYGO. This deck actually is really cool. I did like it a lot. It does offer up a lot of good things you can utilize. I did change it a little bit by incorporating the Nemesis Corridor, a few more of the Mitsurugi cards, but you can feel free to modify however you see fit. I also did change the extra deck a little bit more so I can incorporate Zaylin, Diabell, and Thunder Dragon Colossus as further interactions to our opponent. But basically, we're utilizing the same Drytron amounts, which are 3 Alpha Thuban, 1 Altais. The only difference here is 2 Gamma and 1 Nu, 3 Zeta. We're also incorporating Manju of 10,000 Hands. When this card is normal or flip summon, you can add 1 ritual monster or 1 ritual spell from your deck to your hand. So getting you access to your Mitsurugi cards, being able to start off that combo as well. But Mitsurugi no Makoto Aramasa is really insane as well, because, you know, the whole thing where Aramasa is our monster searcher, Kusanagi adds a card back from our graveyard to our hand, and Saji is our spell searcher. We're also incorporating Nemesis Corridor, as we can target a banished monster except Nemesis Corridor, special summon this card from our hand, and if we do, shuffle that target into the deck. You can target one of your banished Nemesis monsters except Nemesis Corridor, add it to your hand. You can only use each effect of Nemesis Corridor once per turn. We're also incorporating Vandy's Ruler. Mitsurugi, Habakiri no Mitsurugi is basically our way to special summon one of our little Mitsurugis to get our further effects. We also have Murakamo, or sorry, I can't say his name. Murakumo no Mitsurugi, where he is our Omni-Negate and board wipe that helps us break our opponent's boards. But we're also running 3 Cyber Angel Benten, 1 Natasha, 1 Dad, 1 Mini Dad, 1 Futsu no Mitama no Mitsurugi, because the other body can further help. And then we're running the 1 Herald of Perfection. At this point in time, I would cut the Herald of Perfection, as we don't have that many fairy bodies to work with, but it is still a fun thing to search up and can work as an extender with the Ashlyn or Dynamondo line. The other things I will mention here is that you can ritual summon this still with Dawn of the Herald, and works as a pre-preparation or right searcher, so that can help as well. Of course, we're running the 1 Call by the Grave, the 1 Cross Out Designator, 3 Cyber Emergency, the 1 Dawn of the Herald, 3 Deception of Sinful Spoils. You contribute 1 monster from your hand or field, add 1 Azamina card from your deck to your hand. If a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard, you control an Azamina monster, except during damage step, you can make your opponent lose 1,500 life points if you do gain 1,500 life points. During the end phase, if this card was in the graveyard because it was sent there from the spell and trap zone this turn, while face up, you can set it. You can only use each effect of Deception of Sinful Spoils once per turn. Of course, we're following that up with 1 Drytron Fafnir, 3 Drytron Nova, 1 Foolish Burial, being able to get our Drytron monsters into the graveyard a lot sooner. 3 Forbidden Droplet, helps with board breaking capabilities. 2 Meteonis, 1 Mitsurugi Mirror as another way to utilize our pre-prep. 3 Mitsurugi Prayers, where we can tribute 1 reptile monster in our hand or field and apply these effects. If you tributed a monster activation, you can apply both effects. Add 1 Mitsurugi monster from your deck to your hand. Take 800 and special summon 1 Mitsurugi monster from your hand or graveyard, but cannot attack directly this turn. Perfectly fine. And then, of course, we're playing the 1 Mitsurugi Ritual, which allows us to ritual using monsters from the deck, or ritual summon a monster from the deck using monsters in our hand, whose levels equal the level of the monster. Of course, we're playing the 1-for-1, 3 pre-preparation rights. The 1 Grass looks greener because we are running a 60-card variant. The Hollowed Azamina, which allows us to go into our Ilsylvia. And then the 1 Mitsurugi Great Purification, which is just an omni-negate by attributing a level 5 or higher reptile monster to negate that effect. This is basically just ritual pile if I've ever seen it, but it works so well and actually looks really cool. You just got to know what you're working on and what you're working with to be able to further continue your plays, but this deck can work in your favor a lot more than you would expect. Up next, for the extra deck, we're playing 1 Azamina Ilsylvia. We're basically getting this off of the Hallowed Azamina by sending the Deception of Sinful Spoils. It's an omni-negate, gets us on the board pretty fast. Followed up by the 1 Thunder Giant Colossus. The only way we're going into this is with a Nemesis Corridor, which we can easily do because we can take a Link 1 and Cookie Yummy Way to basically go into our Shymasen Samsara Sorokat, where if this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 other Synchro monster in your graveyard, turn it to the extra deck, and if you do special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So basically, you're going to go Cookie Yummy Way with a Drytron, go into Samsara with another Drytron to go into Cupid Pitch. Cupid Pitch will then increase its level to 7. You take another Drytron monster if you have it, and go directly into Diabell. And then you can discard a spell and make Zaylin. You can revive back the Samsara by putting back the Cupid Pitch or the Cookie Yummy Way, and being able to further help there as well. But Cookie Yummy Way also functions as a Book of Moon, which can really help when it's Synchro Summon. But either way, once you get to that part, if you get that far, you can then make Colossus after you link away a Ritual in Dynamondo. Dynamondo can really help break your opponent's board a bit, as you can utilize 2 monsters, including a Ritual monster. So once Samsara hits the graveyard, you can then use Dynamondo, target 1 card in the field and a Ritual monster in your graveyard if you already have one in there, and shuffle both into the deck. During your opponent's turn, you contribute this card, then target 1 Ritual monster in your graveyard, either add it to the hand or special summon it. So this can further help break boards. Zaylin is a chainable negate, where basically if you activate this in chain, you can choose one of the 2 effects. Negate the first effect in the chain if you do destroy that card, or negate the second effect in that chain if you do destroy that card. Of course, we're going to follow that up with 2 Mu Beta Fafnir, 1 Down Nerd, 1 Zeus, 1 Typhon, 1 Linkuriboh, and then 1 Relinquished Anima, which is basically a level 1 monster except the token. Target 1 face-up monster this card points to. Equip that face-up monster this card that is pointing to this card. You can only use this effect of Relinquish Anima once per turn. This card gains attack equal to that equipped monsters. So basically making it harder for your opponent to out, but also giving you a little bit more of board breaking capability. While this deck has a lot of good capability, it does require a lot of knowledge on how this deck can work, because you can end up with a bricky hand. Do know that it is a 60 card variant, so you are looking at a decent amount of cards, but you got to be careful on what you add or ritual summon or activate, because if you mill all your rituals or if you draw just straight spells, it can get you into a lot of pain here with that as a whole. However, as a deck, as a fun one, honestly, this is a really interesting deck. It takes a lot of good aspects from Mitsurugi, Azamina, and Drytron, and incorporates them all into a pile that works pretty well. Being able to give you the full board capability of getting the Mitsurugi combo, but also functioning into the whole board of Drytron being able to get big beaters can really help break your opponent's boards and make it really difficult for them to really do anything. This deck is a lot of fun, and I would say is something I would recommend for those that are looking for a challenge and a new way to play the deck. Anyways, guys, this is all I got for you today for our meta teching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.